Coming to you from the DTC. This is OCN Drives with Jeffrey Erbert.
It's sad, but I'd rather sleep in a car bed.
Graham Briggs.
What am I supposed to say? Stop making fun of my notes?
And Alex Bahl.
Power wagon. This just makes me laugh.
And now your host, Jeffrey Erbert.
Hey, Gearheads. Welcome to another episode of OCN Drives. I'm Jeff Erbert. I'm with...
Graham Briggs.
And Alex Bahl.
And we're here with our car-curious producer, Josh. Would you guys say it's safe to say that Josh might also be bike-curious? As in,
Motorcycle
curious
bike?
about motorcycle bikes?
I don't know, is he? Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think he is.
I don't know.
Okay.
He's telling us he's only bike-curious if
Dirt.
it involves dirty bikes. Dirt bikes.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, this podcast is brought to you by ourcommunitynow.com, where you can find more on our thoughts on cars, culture, what's hot in the community, and more. Graham, let's get cracking.
It's only going to be me today, and this is Alex's. He hates this the most out of all the
It's
things
true.
that we do on this podcast.
I just revealed my darkest secret to them, which
But guess
is that
what?
I hate when they open beers on the podcast.
We know everyone else loves it.
So we compromised, and only Graham is opening his today. I already have mine open. Oh, amen, brother.
It's true.
They do.
It's we've always been sending mixed messages.
It's true. Actually, Top Fuel dragsters and alcohol actually mix pretty well.
Yeah, that's the fuel
that's-
that they
that's
use.
where we got the
that's where we got
inspiration
the
from.
inspiration. And my fuel is today is the Dry Dock Sour Apricot, which is really good,
Yeah.
tasty.
So, Dry Dock, excellent brewery.
Mm-hmm.
Go check out their brew hut if you're a home brewer. So, all right, boys. Gosh, Josh, quit telling us what to do. What do you think, you're a producer or something?
So what's the thing
He's
for this
storming
show?
out.
You're all fired.
How did we get so lucky?
What's the theme of
Okay,
today's?
today's show
episode?
is the good, the bad, and the ugly of 2019.
Ooh.
So we have
a little
successfully
recap, huh?
survived the year 2019 because it is now 2020, and we want to be retrospective gentlemen.
Yeah, we got
of the
some battle
automobile
scars, but we survived, and we wanted to look back on the good cars, the bad cars, and my favorite section is going to be the ugly cars because we got some good
Oh
ones.
yeah, stay tuned. It's gonna get real ugly.
Real ugly.
Real ugly. All right, Alex. I see you have something marked down as your good car of 2019.
Yeah, so my good car, which is kind of a new addition to 2019, is the 2020. It's a weird date thing. I hate that
They always
it.
do that. It's weird.
So
yeah.
so my 2019 is actually a 2020 Charger wide body Hellcat, which is kind of brand new. It starts at 72,000 basically, so not your everyday man's car. And it's the Hellcat engine, so 707 horsepower. They don't currently offer it in the upgraded one because you can get a Challenger now with 717 horsepower.
Oh,
So it's actually kind of interesting to me that they didn't do it for
why?
anyone. Seems like a bold choice, but I just love how it looks. Like it's so good looking. It's so mean looking. I love the wide body stance. I love that Dodge is willing to make factory wide bodies. Pretty much no other company on
is
the
that the
planet
only
does it.
factory offered wide body car.
I doubt it. I bet they're
There's got to be some trucks that have
For,
wide bodies.
yeah. So technically, the Raptor would
wow.
be a wide body F-150, but it's not specifically a wide body. But
Right, they don't name it that.
The Raptor is factually a wide body F-150. So I think there's cars out there. I don't know how many actually market them as, but at least for American made cars, I do think the Dodge and the Challenger and the Charger are the only at least marketed wide bodies. Which I think is cool. I just love the wide body stance. It's just they're just tanks. They're huge.
But I don't know. You're gonna say that's the best car of 2019 just because it got a little bit wider.
No, I think it just looks good too.
You just think it looks good,
And also
Okay,
just like that Hellcat engine is great. I think that's just like on its own.
Yeah, but my thing on this is the only debate I have with this is what Jeff was saying is like, there's been Hellcats for last 3 years?
2015, I think, is the first Hellcat.
4 years ish, 5 years. And the only thing new on this is that it's a wide body, right? What else did they add anything else?
It's just wide body and aero, so it's just all just. I mean, it is performance. Even the wide body is.
Yeah.
Most of the wide body is performance. I'm sure there's parts on the wide body that are just to match the kind of muscular look, but at least like the wider fenders, that's a performance decision because they can make the tires wider.
Right. Well, as much as I'd like to criticize you in this way, I've said before on the show, design matters, and if this car looks good to you, I can't fault you for liking that.
I think it's a good looking car.
I agree, actually.
I think the Hellcat engine is hilarious. I really, 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 really wish they would just make this all-wheel drive. I'm sure there's a really good reason they haven't made an all-wheel drive Hellcat, probably because they just don't have a powertrain.
Because it might hurt Elon Musk's feelings. The Tesla Racing channel might suffer a little bit.
Yes.
All right, Graham.
Just kidding.
What is your 2019
here we
favorite
go.
vehicle?
Well, here we go.
Let's hear it.
It's going to be the one that's the most contested.
Wait, you can't see him below the waist on this, can you?
Yes, that's why we have
It's a Porsche.
That's why we have. No, don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
you guys didn't
This
know,
camera-
but Josh added a new camera angle,
Yes.
which is our crotches.
If you'd like to see that, you have to pay an
Subscribe.
additional $4.99.
No, subscribe to
In
our
fact,
Patreon.
you know what we should
our
do?
Patreon account. Our Patreon account. It needs some funds.
We should
know.
start that way and make people pay not to see it. I think that would be a better tactic.
to turn off the crotch cam. You have to,
Exactly. I don't know
really
which is
need that.
worse, our faces or our big heads or our little heads or our little heads. Anyway, Graham,
Oh my gosh.
go on.
say it.
What do you got? Let it
Mine
hang
is
out.
the again with the 2020, but it came out in 2019. But the 2020 Porsche Taycan. Boo. Why boo? Well, I don't understand why you don't like.
Because it's ugly.
It's not.
It
ugly.
looks like an apple mouse.
I think it looks
It's
the best.
Yeah, it looks like an apple mouse with. It's an overpriced apple mouse with wheels.
Nope. Depending on what model you're gonna get.
the
but
nicest one starts at like 150.
150.
Oh,
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Wow.
But what I'm trying to get with the good on this is that it's the first. I think it's really I think we've hit the tipping point on electric vehicles, and I think the year of 2020 will be all about electric vehicles, and this is the start in 2019, and I think it's a impressive showing. I love Porsche, and I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean,
I agree with you that electric cars are definitely going to become more and more, especially because I think there is now a real push on the grid to be able to charge these.
Yep.
Because that's really
I agree.
that's a big issue.
yeah, it's a chicken
All
before
these
the egg.
all
and
these
that
car
shit.
companies can make as many cars as they want, but if we get to a point where no one can charge them, which it's already kind of a problem depending on where you live.
Yeah, California.
Yeah, like it's just like unless you have one installed at your home, like it's actually pretty competitive, and also just like the complete nonsense of like people purposely parking in electric charging spots to be mean. I literally do not understand the people who like roll coal Teslas and like
I know.
key them, and so it's like, what is your hatred? Like,
I mean, I'm not
do you work for the oil company?
Right.
Like,
Well, I'm not a big fan of Tesla itself, but I mean, I'm never gonna just go scratch.
I don't have an issue with Tesla. I don't
Yeah,
have an issue
same.
with their cars. I just don't like Elon Musk.
Well, there's that too.
Like if
True.
Well, it's a felony to scratch any car.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like weird that Tesla gets targeted for no reason at all. It's like, you're the future. I hate you. It's like,
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know if it's you're the future. I think it's more. I think there's different reasons, but I definitely do.
and they're
think
not
that-
like I would get like people keen expensive cars because it's like, oh, humbug, I can't afford this car, so I'm going to ruin your day. But it's like, but you don't hear Lamborghinis and Ferraris getting keyed all that often.
I still
so
don't.
it's just like you're actively targeting Tesla.
Yeah, I don't get it anyways.
Yeah.
But
It's weird.
the other reason why I'm choosing this is I think it's changing the way that the electric vehicle is going to be viewed in the mass public. So I think it's really pushing forward the advancement of the ability for electric vehicles. And now you're seeing BMWs launching 3 or 4 electric vehicles in 2020, or at least models of their vehicles in 2020. And what we have, Mercedes has got its own EQVS or something like that.
I mean, pretty
QS.
much. I mean, even Jaguar's making an electric.
Well, and Jaguars
car.
are
Everybody
making,
has
yeah,
the
they're
I-Pace.
doing
If
their
you're in
I-Pace.
2019 going into 2020 and you're not making at least one electric car, you're ancient and you're gonna go out of business.
That's what I'm saying, and that's
Like you
And
have
that's why you're buying a Dodge.
yeah, you have to participate. Yeah, actually, I don't think Dodge has one. I mean, technically, the whole Fiat Chrysler, I think it's fine for
bet
something
so.
like a big conglomerate, as long as one of their branches, as
that-
long as they're putting money into electric
Right.
cars, I don't really have a problem.
if that Ryan does well, I don't know when is that coming out, this year or next year?
The what?
That Dodge, it's not. Maybe it's not a Dodge. What's the Uber truck competitor? Is that a Dodge Ryan? The Cybertruck, not Uber truck.
The
my bad.
Rivian?
Rivian, yeah.
Yeah, that's not a Dodge.
No,
What
it's
is
not.
it?
It's a third-party company. It's like Tesla.
No, it's backed
no.
by GM though.
I think Ford put a bunch of money into it too.
It's
But
not-
it is
it's not a
backed
Rivian,
by
it's
Amazon.
Ryan,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And GM.
No, it is a third-party like Tesla company, but they've just taken a bunch of money from the big car companies to make it. Because I know Ford's put money into it, like you said, GM, Amazon's put money into it.
Yeah, no, I know Amazon's put money into it. That was the big one. They put a lot of money into that.
Great. Now your car can collect even more data about you. Ooh, maybe they'll put fart smellers in them in the new electric cars, and then they'll see what your diet's like.
They can
And then
put that
they'll
in.
tell
They
your health
can, Jeff.
insurance
They can
company.
put that in. They can put that in regular cars too, Jeff.
True.
I know every time you connect your Apple CarPlay, it's like they're always watching where
There
you're
you
going.
go.
Yeah.
I'm sure they
Which
are.
is fine. My life's not that exciting.
I mean, you
But
also
for
just
some
have
people,
like
you might
an
be concerned.
iPhone in your pocket that you use for everything.
Yeah, I know. In fact, hey, maybe Apple and the NSA are both listening to our podcast as we speak via our phones.
One can only hope because then we'd have two
have
viewers.
a couple listeners.
Yeah.
So Apple, NSA, if you're out there,
In this case, I hope they're spied.
I hope so too.
Maybe we should
Learn
say
them
something.
something
We
about
should
some
like
cars.
commit some like. Say I'm gonna blow up a building or something, and then they'll have to come and listen. Yeah.
Josh is getting a little excited on that one.
But
But-
I think it's fair. Back to the cars. I think it's fair for Graham to say that he thinks the Porsche is good. I think there's a lot of videos out there that could show that the Porsche isn't good. Have you, Graham? Did I don't think I sent it to you. Did you see the explain everything? What is it, Jeff? The explain.
Engineering explained.
Engineering Explained. That guy did a video on the Porsche to talk about how inefficient it is, and it's brutal. Like it's like the Taycan weight to power wise and like in range. I think the numbers are worse than the new GT500
for
like
electric
just
part?
overall
for the electric part.
yeah, just overall efficiency.
Or are you just saying overall efficiency?
Yeah, just
I'm not saying that it's perfect. I'm saying that the reason why I'm picking it is because it's the first actual vehicle that I think it's going to sell more than just the Tesla, and it's going to make the manufacturers.
the $150,000 Porsche
Yeah.
is gonna sell well.
Yeah, I do.
I might agree with you, Graham. Actually,
Really, you guys think it's gonna? I think it's gonna sell
yeah,
well.
because people with money oftentimes don't
Yes.
have taste. So
True.
Oh, whoa. Well, I don't think that's the case at all.
That's a true fact.
We just
Okay.
don't like electric vehicles. We
No.
already have stated this.
that's not the true.
You
That's
like-
not true. I love the Honda E, and that's going to be my first
God,
electric car.
It's so ugly. How can you
Okay,
say
compared
this?
to the
How can you say this is ugly compared to that vehicle?
Honda E oozes charisma.
Oh my God! It
All right,
oozes.
all right, all right.
But
talking about toys
Let me
earlier.
tell you my problem with the Taycan, and
Okay.
it's because it comes from Porsche, right?
That's
what is,
your problem.
What is Porsche known for?
Oh, 5, 6.
Fantastic sports cars and fucking
name
kicking
it.
ass at Le Mans.
Yeah, I mean, yes. But
Why would they come out with their first electric car? Why would they come out with a fucking Panamera knockoff?
Yeah,
It's not
that's-
a Panamera.
That is 100% my
Like, why
biggest
not
issue.
make the most badass electric
It's not
sports
a
car?
Panamera.
It should have been.
They can make the 718.
They should have made like a 911E, and
Yes.
and it should have been incredible. But I agree. Them going specifically after the 4-door Teslas at the price point, because that's clearly what it is. And
yeah.
it's I think that was I think it's going to work well for them money wise.
Yeah, because those people don't
But at
have
least
taste.
from like a company
think
standpoint
that's
of just like God, like I imagine if they had just made like a 911E, like that would have been
Well,
that would have been
to
so
each their
sick.
own opinions. I think that you guys are wrong. So,
All right,
boom.
Jeff, what's
and how
your-
you can choose a car that's
Okay.
been around for 4 years as your best 2019 car is a travesty.
Okay, well, let me
Here
tell
we
you,
go.
the car that I selected has been around since 1953.
Well, you know what? We were told that we couldn't select the C8. And then
You were told you can't select the C8.
I was told.
That was
yes.
not. That was not.
Alex,
the
you
case.
came over
It
and
wasn't
you
the
came
case.
to my cubicle area and you said this. We're choosing cars that you can be able to purchase. Even if you can't purchase, go online and you can't purchase.
Can you purchase the C8 online right now?
I believe you can.
Oh,
I believe
my
you can order a
gosh.
C8.
Because that's all
No,
I said.
They're
And I-
already.
my God.
Then how are they already sold out, Graham?
Because you said that you can't get them because of
They're just not being delivered because they're not being made right now.
Exactly.
Because of the GM strike.
Yes, and you said that we shouldn't choose those.
Well, I haven't seen a Taycan on the road.
Oh my God. Well, yeah, they're
Jeff,
missing.
Jeff might actually be in
They're
trouble
missing.
here. No, they do have the
never in
configurator
trouble.
on the website. Let me see if I can just place.
Can you place
you
an
can
order? I don't
configure
know.
it on the website,
Can I place a
it's
little order
legal.
right here?
All right. Whatever.
No, the thing was on the website, and you can hit a button that says purchase.
I'm just salty about this because you came over, Alex, and you lied to me, and I'm done with it. All right, go.
Alex did spread some misinformation,
Yes, he
I will
did.
admit. But somebody had to say it, so I'll take this one. Especially since the NSA is listening now.
I'm gonna let you have it, but I'm actually gonna say I believe this car is illegal for this.
Boom.
For this, you cannot buy one. You can request quotes.
Yep.
And you can do a pre-orders is how they're still doing
Okay.
it because the C8, it's
No.
50 states.
But it's compliant. The problem that they're not making them is because there's
they're-
strikes going on.
Yeah, because of the GM strike, the factory that made them like basically shut down for like 2 months.
Bowling Green,
Yeah.
So they're
Kentucky.
massively behind making them.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
keep
a whole
going.
nother story.
I think it's fair. I think it's at least worth talking about the C8.
Oh,
So-
it's
to
worth
mention.
talking about, but yeah. Anyways, keep going.
Oh, no, I mean, you guys already know the specs on it. 0 to 60 in 2.9 seconds, 495 horse.
bonkers.
And a V8 right behind your ears.
$60,000
Oh,
for a vehicle that can do 2.9 seconds.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
yeah.
other things that can do that.
Yeah.
Like you could buy an Ariel Atom for the same price, and it might do faster.
Is
than-
Ariel
but
Atom a road legal vehicle?
It is.
Yes.
It is.
Yep,
Okay.
50 state legal. But it's a motorcycle. Like, I mean, the way you sit in it, it's like, is there, I don't think there's another vehicle on earth that for that price point to that speed, I don't think there's anything close.
no.
Unless you start modifying.
Yeah, you have
or
to modify that, yeah.
But just straight out of the factory, 2.9 seconds for 60 grand.
Oh.
That's like, I mean, how can you
I
argue?
mean, the numbers alone are incredible.
Yeah.
But what's even more impressive is that
Pretty.
General Motors took an American icon, America's sports car, that's been beloved for nearly 60 years by, enthusiasts and armchair enthusiasts like Graham here. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
You're good.
But yeah, they messed with perfection, and they had quite a bit to live up to.
Right. This is my only.
respect
This is. I
and
respect it.
They nailed it.
This is my only little jab at that. Is that they've been talking about this for 40 plus years, that they've been wanting to do a mid-engine. They've been wanting to do it forever and wanting to do it forever.
Have they or have we been talking about how we want to manage?
Okay, it's a little bit of both. A little
is
bit
a
of
little bit of
them
both.
Yeah.
saying like, can we actually do this, and blah 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 blah, and the public really wanting it because basically, the last 40 years, it's been fighting the European supercars.
Yeah, I bet a big reason they're doing it now is an economic reason. Not only because the economy is doing pretty well, but because technology has gotten so good at building cars that something like a mid-engine car that is definitely more complicated than a front-engine car. I bet just economically they finally were like, hey, we did the budgeting on making a rear-engine Corvette,
Yeah.
and it's now under $100,000.
Right.
Yep.
Because they're like, we want to sell it competitively at,
Now the next is hybrid vehicle. They're gonna put in one of those 1.6
Yeah.
V6, and they're gonna make hybrid.
If they make like a C8 with the same technology of like the the P1 or
the Senna.
918.
The Senna.
Yeah.
Yeah. 'Cause
Like
that
if
has a
they just
V6
like put in like 100 to 200 horsepower electric engine on the back wheels or the front wheels even.
Yeah. In a
Oh,
front
yeah.
wheels,
Like if you did the front wheels and just got rid of the frunk,
Yep.
like 100% okay with that.
Yeah.
Just like 600 to 800 horsepower.
Right.
For like, even if it was like $150,000, if they just made it, I would be happy.
I'd still take one over a Taycan.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Whoa.
But
hey. Oh
real
my
quick,
God.
that you bring up a good point. You were mentioning that manufacturing technology has come quite a ways so that they could build this car for that price.
Yeah.
But I'm also going to argue that I think it's just amount of horsepower now that engines can produce.
Yeah, we're also
So it's like-
we're also, and I think that's just a big topic of 2010 to 2020 is we've been in a horsepower renaissance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the only reason we get the stupid vehicles like the Hellcat, and even the new GT500 was 760 horsepower from the factory, which is it's $100,000 car. It's less than you can get one for less than $100,000, and it's 760 horsepower. And people say it hooks up, which is the crazy thing. It's a 10-second car from the factory.
Well, that's more than I can say about myself.
All right.
What do you guys think about moving on to some
Yeah.
bad cars?
Do we
do
want to
it.
do bad cars or we want to say decade stuff?
No, we'll do
let's
decade last.
Let's do bad cars.
Yeah, let's just
Okay.
do.
Bad cars. Okay.
So these are our bad cars of 2020. I'll start again, and I'm gonna say that the bad car. It's not maybe the worst, but it's just one that's irked me. Is the Ford Ranger, which is Ford keeps saying it's the new Ford Ranger. It's not. They've been making this exact truck all across the world. They made some style updates when they brought it to the U.S., and that's why they get to claim that it's.
Are you
new.
specifically saying the version that is made in the U.S., right?
The version that is made in the U.S.
Okay.
I think is a bad car.
Yep.
Or truck for multiple reasons. My biggest issue with it is that I just don't feel like they tried. Like it was like, hey, we brought the Ranger back because we want to compete because like Tacomas are selling like crazy. So people are buying. And they didn't change anything about it when they brought it over. So, and then they stopped at a mid-level trim, which I don't like. Like they stopped at their Lariat trim.
Yes.
So it's missing a ton of things.
Agreed 100%
Like,
on that.
agree.
Straight up cannot get a sunroof. Every other midsize truck has a sunroof. So that one perplexes me.
And no Ranger Raptor.
Yeah,
That's
no
a big
Raptor.
thing. No Ranger Raptor. That's my thing.
I get the understanding of. I wish they would bring it. They're probably going to bring it because the Ranger did not sell very well. It got outsold by the Frontier.
Oh, wow.
Which is pretty brutal. And I think it's because it's boring. Like that's my biggest issue with it is all the other people who are bringing new mid-sized trucks to the market, like Jeep with the Gladiator is exciting. Everything about the Gladiator, whether you like how it looks or not, everything's new about it other than like the engine. But it's just freaking awesome. And then you just look at the Ranger and it's like it doesn't feel like there's effort in it. Is how it feels to me. It's like, hey, we already make this. I guess we can just sell it.
But if we did this show in Australia, this would be this new
The Ranger Raptor.
that they're gonna put the V8 Mustang in there.
Are they doing that?
Yeah.
Are they doing that in
Special.
Australia?
Yeah.
Oh, my
That's
Lord.
sweet. Yeah.
Well, thanks
So
for listening.
the-
I'm moving to Australia.
Yeah, for the people who don't know, the primary reason we don't have the Ranger Raptor in the U.S. is because the U.S. is also the only place that actually gets the F1 Raptor. The rest of the world does not get the F-150 Raptor, and the rest of the world gets the Ranger Raptor, and we don't get it. So they just don't want the sales to cannibalize. I think that's a terrible decision. I think the Ranger Raptor would have sold like freaking hotcakes if it was even like remotely as good as the Raptor, like our Raptor. Like if it could jump and do all of that.
Well, it's got. have you looked at the specs? It's got ridiculous specs.
It would sell better than the Bison, which is not on any of our lists. But I also think it's just a car that doesn't get talked enough about.
It is on our
it's a
truck.
badass
It's on our truck.
Yeah, it is. So. But the ZR2 Bison from Chevy, which is the ZR2 is pretty old, so it's not like the most exciting. But they just did so many cool things to the Bison. They made the first production run of 5,000. Every single one sold out before a single one hit the dealership floors, and not reserved sold out, literally sold out. Like it was fully bought and paid for. 5,000 of them. So they're doing a second run right now. I think they're building the trucks. So those are pretty sweet. That's also a $60,000 mid-sized truck.
Yep.
which is crazy. But yeah, that's my spiel on the Ford Ranger. I think Ford didn't put any effort into it, and thus I think it is.
Just missed the boat.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Graham, what do you got?
Mine is another one where it's not a bad car, because I think the specs on it are really actually pretty good, and for the price range that you're getting is pretty decent. But yeah, so it's the 2020 Toyota Supra. You heard me already say about this. You take something that's iconic as like the Supra, and you just ruin pretty much quite a bit of everything that made it so great.
I feel like they destroyed its reputation.
So I mean, yeah, it's brand new, so we're still waiting on some of these, mods, because I mean that's really what the other thing that made the Supra great is there were so many modifications.
That's
that
the
you could
entire
make
reason people know anything about the Supra,
Right,
is
so-
how famously well it modded,
Right.
And then ended up. I mean, really, arguably, it was the first Fast and the Furious movie that really was like, this is a Supra and it's sweet.
that brought it to the mainstay. I think there was an underground market of the Supras just because it was cheap and it had a lot of like. It's Toyota, so it's dependable, and it had a lot of things that you could add on and modify about it. I think I've seen a lot of people do like the modifications on the aero on the the baseboards and on the front grille on the back right now. So I mean, at least that modification's starting.
Yeah,
and there's
Toyota,
one,
I think TRD in general for Toyota had a bunch of like carbon fiber kits and stuff for the Supra, for the new one.
Yeah, I'm talking even outside of Toyota.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that I've been seeing is they're starting to become with handling the clutch and adding in a manual clutch or the transmission.
Yeah,
adding on a
that's
manual
not.
clutch.
I don't think that really counts because it's like.
But I think it counts huge.
Any car can be manual swapped pretty
I think
easily.
that's a huge thing for a Supra, though. That's why
No,
I
the
don't
Supra
like,
should have just had it. But,
right, that's
but
what I'm
don't-
trying to say.
But I
Because
don't.
it doesn't have it. It's
Yeah.
it's like it's horrible that they came out with that.
Yeah, I think that was one of the most ridiculous things, especially because they sell the Toyota 86 with a manual, and
Yeah.
it's just like
Yeah.
So, and the Toyota 86 is just co-created with
With
Subaru,
the
and-
BRZ, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Kia has one, the Stinger or something. Not the Stinger. Someone else has another version of it. But yeah, so those were manuals, and then even the Supra itself is literally just a clone of the new BMW Z4.
Yeah,
It's
it is
built literally in the same factory.
same everything.
It's same everything, except somehow the BMW got 120 more horsepower and a manual. So it was just like,
Yes.
like I don't know how.
well, that's a different engine
Yeah,
that you can get the 120
yeah,
horsepower.
and it's like, so I don't know how that negotiation went, where BMW's like, yeah, you can have our body, but you can't make it a manual.
No, I'm sure that was what it was.
So that's-
because they're using a
Because
ZF
that's,
transmission.
I think that's,
so.
I think people would have, because it's gotten a lot of heat. People are like, this is dumb. Why did you even make this?
Well,
like,
and
you're
this is my thing. I'm not a huge. I like Supras, and I like the aftermod market, and I think they're very interesting. But why is my bad cars? I think it was just such a big flop. I think it could have been so great.
Yeah,
and the price isn't a big thing for me because I've looked at there's been studies looking at like the inflation and what it was if you got a Mach 4 in the mid 90s. It would have been 59 with inflation right now. So I mean, getting it for 49, it's $9,000, $10,000 actually less than what that would be with inflation. But at the same time, I think that they lost a lot of that with the manual transmission and it all being, it's all BMW stuff now. So it's not anything
it's
that's
not
Toyota.
even-
So it's not the rev counts and other things are a little bit wonky for me too. Like the ratios, the gear ratios, a little bit wonky for me on.
So with the Supra, I jokingly say it's a clone. Toyota actually did do a lot to the Supra. People who drive them side by side, the BMW and the Supra is considerably more sporty. It's slower, doesn't have a manual,
Right.
But the suspension
is,
differences and the gearing and all that stuff that was done to the Supra that does make it different than the BMW. Everyone's like, if it was faster, this would be a better sports car.
Yeah,
than the
but I've
BMW.
also heard the styling.
The BMW 's-
styling is also one thing, and,
Yeah.
and this is what I'm gonna say. For the general market, it's not a huge miss. It's a little bit of a miss, but for the Supra hardcore after mod that
Yeah.
were waiting for this to come out are super, like, I think they missed by a huge mile, and I think they're going to keep,
Yeah.
it's the aftermarket that's going to strive to try and get it back, but I don't even know if that's going to be the case.
think
I think the Supra's dead until the next remodel.
Yeah, I think we're also, I think,
Boom
in a
logic.
relative kind of age, not of only just high horsepower, but of also kind of relative retro cars, or at least retro car names coming back. Like the Challenger is just like sells like crazy. Like people
Yeah.
love they redid the Challenger and they just made it look like the old one. And then Dodge was like, we're gonna give it stupid horsepower, and it sold like crazy. And then the Mustang still is selling like absolute crazy. That's an ancient car.
Yeah.
They keep updating it, but so it's like I get why they brought the Super back, because they saw the market and they're like, people are selling old named cars because there's nostalgia. Let's do that. And
They
it'll sell
br-
well. But the problem is they didn't do what the other car companies that are bringing their old cars back.
Right.
Like Ford's going to bring the Bronco back in 2020
Well,
or 2021.
The Blazer's back.
The Blazer's back. The Blazer is also kind of
It's
a flop.
also kind of a miss.
Okay,
Yeah, That's
okay.
what I'm trying to get at.
Hold on.
What?
I want to stop you guys there
Oh,
because
I
that
didn't-
is actually what I picked for my.
Yeah.
I didn't
What a
actually even
segue.
notice that. But do you know what the funny thing is, Jeff?
What?
For about 5 minutes on this sheet, I had the Blazer as
Did you
well.
really?
Yeah, if
Cool.
you roll back the history, you'll see I typed Chevy Blazer.
Here's the
funny.
first one that we all agreed on here.
Wow.
So go ahead.
And it
Jeff.
was weird. It's a little out of character for me to pick
It is.
an off-roader, but
and American too.
yeah,
as a bad.
I chose the Chevy Blazer. Obviously, it's not the off-road vehicle we were hoping for. It looks great.
It's a car that I think the world
But
would
it's a
recommend
crossover.
that you not take off-road.
Yeah.
yeah, I know. It's like doesn't Chevrolet already have enough crossovers in their lineup for
Yeah.
people who just want to go get groceries?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I
why
mean,
not
it is-
throw a chip to the enthusiasts? They've already been doing badass stuff with the Corvette, the Bison, the Camaro ZL1. Like, just one more, please.
Yeah, the ZL1 was good, but the SS was trash. Did you see that?
Well, the new one.
Yeah, the new one. They're already redoing it for the late 2020.
And that's just the styling, though. But
Yeah, the
otherwise,
styling. The
otherwise,
styling, yes.
I would say that having driven a Mustang, a Challenger, and a Camaro,
Yeah.
I would say that the Chevrolet chassis and handling inspires the most confidence.
Right, I'm just
Of
saying,
the
as
three.
a whole package, I think.
Yeah,
they-
you're going to
they
die
failed
in the
on-
Challenger.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I almost have.
But
to.
that's also
That's also
again,
what it was about.
That's the delivery again of old cars being brought back for nostalgia. It's like, hey, we're going to build a Challenger, and it's going to be as terrible as it was back
Yeah,
then.
perfect.
And everyone's going to love it.
But it fits exactly what you
Yeah.
want for it.
And
Okay,
it's-
but
So
why
hold
why else
on.
the Blazer?
Hold on.
What are the big things?
So you said people love terrible things.
Yeah.
Well, boys,
No.
I think we have a shot.
I know.
Oh yeah,
It's
I think
true.
I think we
I
do
think we
too.
have a shot.
I think we
Yeah,
got
it's
it.
true.
But no, mainly the Chevy Blazer. I chose it. I think it looks great. It kind of looks like a Camaro SUV, but it's just a crossover.
Yeah.
None of the engines are inspiring. It doesn't have any real off-road capability that gets me excited. If there was any car to go like slightly retro with, of like the SUV lineup, it was definitely the Blazer. And then for all that, I think it was a miss, and I think it was just Chevy trying to again.
It's cash in on that retro.
exactly
But
cash in on the name.
Okay, the real question is, well, there's two actually. Can you get it in white?
Yes.
And is O.J. Simpson got one?
He drove a Bronco.
That was a Bronco.
Oh, dang it.
you
That was a Bronco.
ignoramus.
It's the new, which oh God, I'm excited for the Bronco.
Yes.
They're the same vehicle
Ford
to me.
does cool stuff sometimes. I mean, and they also do terrible things sometimes.
Yeah.
With the
Like-
Mach-E.
Well, Mach-E, I'm
But
just
if
going to
they-
tell you.
And
Just
they've-
imagine that Ford Bronco with that Mach-E
Ford,
front.
Ford has deliberately said we are building the Bronco to go after the Wrangler. I mean, not literally, but like that's what this is. This is the Ford Wrangler.
Have they given any? I mean, obviously there's some concepts.
The only thing people have seen is there's been the closest thing we've seen is that they made a Ford Bronco with the new body style for the Baja 1000 this year. So that's the closest we've seen to a live driving real version. But that was so heavily modified that you really couldn't get a lot out of it. You could just like see headlights, you could see taillights, you could see general body shape, but after that, like everything else on a Baja truck is custom.
Right. Yep.
So that's the closest we've seen to it. But there's been a lot of patents that Ford has done that has gotten people really excited, like doors coming off. Like they've done patents for how to store the doors in the trunk of it.
Oh, that's
Excellent.
And then
Excellent.
it's pretty much confirmed that at least with the Bronco, the doors are coming off, which is the first time Ford's done that in a long time. I would love to see it with the roof off. I don't think it's happening, but that would be the thing that would get me really excited if doors and roof are coming off and be a real Wrangler going after. Because then, right. I love Jeeps. They've had way too long of a free ride. Like they print money, and I don't know why other companies have taken this long. They're like, no one's gonna buy these, so we should just not make it. It's like the Jeep Wrangler sells like crazy, and not even just the Jeep Wrangler. The Rubicon, the most expensive one, outsells all the other trims like by a wide margin, like which is insane. How many other cars can say that
Love it.
our $60,000 version is the best seller?
Yes.
That's crazy. Like the Gladiator. Across the entire Jeep line, the Gladiator Rubicon, which is the most expensive kind of Wrangler you can buy, is the best-selling vehicle and is also the vehicle that people spend the most money on. So even after they buy it, like because they can keep tracking you through like buying Mopar parts,
Right.
It is the vehicle people are choosing to spend the most money on, like Mopar parts and stuff.
'Cause
So
you have to make it
it's just
better.
like it's just raining money, and it's like I don't. It's the same with like the Raptor. Like you look at the Raptor, they can't keep that thing on show floors. And all the other companies who could make one have just not participated for like 10 years.
Again, why not bring the Ranger Raptor into the whole thing?
I agree.
I don't know.
Yeah. But I'm with you, Jeff. And like I said, it was going to be
Blazer.
on my list
Yeah.
too. The Blazers is
Yep.
such a miss.
Yeah.
It is.
All right. Next one. Next. What's up?
Ugly
Next?
cars.
We're
Ugly
moving-
cars
we're
of 2019.
Yeah, we're moving.
Alex.
So my car is the Nissan Frontier or truck, which is the midsize truck you can get from Nissan. And it doesn't look good at all because it's 1,000
False.
years old. Does not look good. Inside and out, it's just an ugly car at this point.
Inside could use some updating.
It's
I will
just
admit.
it's just so old, and it's. I assume I would blow my mind if they're not redesigning it right now because the Titan just got redone, and I think that's a big reason why this is on my list of ugly. It was actually in my bad as well, but then I moved it around. It's just like they redid the Titan. The Titan looks 1,000 times better. It's still kind of up in the air whether the Titan is still competing with the other trucks.
Right.
Especially because the Titan XD, which is supposed to be their like heavy duty, but it's
With the Cummins.
it's supposed to be awesome, and everyone's like, yeah, this kind of sucks. So
Well, I've driven one.
yeah, the XD has been a huge letdown for
Although
the
they
market.
do have a midnight trim that looks pretty nice. I just
No,
watched
the new
website.
yeah,
So.
and so I think the Frontier is just a huge miss. I think especially with the mid-sized truck market blowing up as crazy as it is, like the numbers are huge, and somehow actually these still are. I think the Frontier sold. I think it was number 2 or 3 on the market. No one's dethroned Tacoma. I don't know how long it's going to take for Tacoma to be dethroned. I think the Gladiator is too expensive to dethrone it.
Right.
Is the
I
problem?
agree.
But
I
someone
think-
who
I think-
loves Toyota Tacoma so much, this
Yeah.
is exactly what a Toyota Tacoma looks like.
Oh,
on the
Josh,
inside.
put your clothes back on.
Oh, you try it.
But it's just
Good
like
luck,
that's been the weirdest thing I
buddy.
think just of this generation of mid-sized trucks is that everyone you look at the Tacoma, that's the baseline. We got to do better than that, or we have to at least do similar and prices similar. And Jeep said we're going to make something better. I think the Gladiator is better, but it's going to cost so much more money that it's not really a competitor. Ford says we're going to compete and we're going to basically make it the same, but like I don't think it's better. I'd rather have a Tacoma than the Ranger. And then Nissan's just not competing. By not updating, they're just saying we don't care. People are buying these. We're not going to change it. Leave us alone. Because it is the thing I wanted to note. Like the Ford Ranger, its base price is $24,000. For lowest trim, nothing on it. The Frontier's base price is $19,000, so considerably cheaper. Yeah, that is the one thing about the
True.
Frontier, and the reason why it is outselling all these new mid-size trucks is because it's cheap.
It's true. It's true.
Because it is built cheap, it looks cheap.
Well,
Yeah. All right, Graham. What's yours? What's your ugly car?
Oh, Oh, my ugly car.
This is.
We were just talking about this the other day.
I will say,
I cut a wall.
the Frontier, I think, is ugly, but boy, it doesn't even come close to this one.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
man.
think mine's the ugliest.
The Frontier is the prom queen compared to this one.
I think also performance wise is a little sad too. I think, but mine is the.
It's just hard to say.
I can't even find it. Oh, there it is. Range Rover Evoque convertible. So this goes into the decade of a couple vehicles trying to do this, but this is a SUV vehicle that they made convertible. I don't know if you guys ever saw Nissan Murano.
Yeah.
Did you see that Nissan Murano? Oh my God, the Nissan Murano.
Never
was
in my
trash.
life have I woken up
Yes.
out of bed and thought to myself, I wish they'd make a convertible SUV.
Okay, Mister. Yeah, somebody needs to
although I guess
challenge
the
Jeep in taking the roof and doors off.
Jeep, I don't consider a convertible. It's different.
How do you not consider a Jeep a convertible?
Style-wise, you're right. I do like the Jeep.
Because it
But
has a bar.
It's the style-wise, it's so much different.
Okay.
It feels so much different than like sport car convertible
Yes.
in SUV. I've never woken up and
Well,
said, I need this in my life.
This is what it looks like to me. It looks like it's just a box frame with a windshield here and then wheels. It doesn't look. It just looks
the SUV,
oh.
and I think that's a good point because you were jokingly saying, "Oh, because it has the extra bars on the Jeep." That's because, and what Graham is saying is because there's no figure because
Yes.
it doesn't have those things.
Exactly.
It's missing kind of this overall design and feel where it's like it literally just looks like they took a Range Rover, chopped the top off, called it a day.
Oh, I need to see.
Which
a
is-
picture
I mean,
saw.
again-
Okay. So the picture that they're probably looking at is one with the convertible and next to the Evoque without the convertible top.
it's just big.
But the convertible with the top, even with the top on, it just doesn't look very good at all.
It's like
It's a scrunched down version of what the Evoque actually is itself.
I think a big part of the reason that we all think it's ugly is that it kind of breaks just overall car design tradition that we've seen for a really long time.
Yeah.
And that it's high off the ground.
But it's not high. This Evoque is super.
Yeah,
like,
it's low.
It's low to the ground.
It's horrible. But yeah.
It's why people don't like the Porsche Panamera. It's because it's extended.
It's weird,
They just
yeah.
extended something that's very traditional,
Yeah.
and when you extend something that's traditional, it just looks weird.
Jeff is laughing because you're saying you don't like the Panamera, but you like the Taycan, and they're
No,
identical.
No, they're not identical. Oh my God, they're not identical at all.
They're definitely strange bedfellows.
Yeah.
They're
They're
kissing
fine.
cousins.
They're strange bedfellows.
They're
but
kissing
not.
cousins.
But
They
at
are.
the right time, one of those cousins could be hot and the other one not.
Maybe the Taycan will grow into something. Who
Oh
knows?
Jesus. Okay. Well,
But I kind of hate the Evoque convertible so much that I like it. Like I almost want to get one just to
Just,
park next to you every single day,
just
I
so
also-
that
just to make you mad.
Yeah.
I also just kind of appreciate that someone's like at Range Rover was like, hey, let's just do it. And they got it approved. So
Right.
I guess I kind of
Yeah, because you said you like the Tesla truck for being kind of different.
true.
So does that apply to this
Yeah,
case?
Yeah, I mean,
hot
whoa.
take here, the Tesla truck somehow looks better than that.
Oh no!
Yeah. You think that looks better than the Tesla truck?
Yeah.
You're out of your mind.
No, are you kidding me?
Yeah, it looks a little, like slightly though. I mean, I get where you're going
You're-
with it. It's slight.
Crazy.
Graham, what do you think? Better or worse than the Tesla truck?
This?
Yeah,
Oh, it's slightly better.
good.
That blows my mind. You two would rather have that in your driveway than the Tesla
Oh,
truck just on
yes.
design.
Shit, yes.
Oh my God, really?
Definitely. I would even take the back seats out and make that a little bed.
The
Make a
design
little
looks like some
convertible
little
pickup truck.
kid made that freaking Cybertruck. To be honest, like
It's true.
there's other renderings I've shown you guys, and this might be a good segue into a conversation about. Maybe later we'll talk about
Yeah.
it. But
Well,
our
Jeff
Instagram
needs to
account.
talk about
But-
his ugly cars.
But there's renderings that just look so much better, where they took the idea of what they're trying to go for and just made the Cybertruck look so much better that. Yeah, I can't even get on the Cybertruck thing. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. All right, Jeff.
Anyway.
What is? I see here you've cheated, which is a classic occurrence of OCN.
Yeah, this
Drives.
is a
We
double
said-
cheat here.
Hey, you know what?
And I think one of these was just to irk me. So go ahead and say.
Oh
them.
yeah.
I think one of them was just to piss me off.
Oh yeah, because I threw the Lamborghini Urus on my
This-
ugly
this-
vehicle list.
You think it's ugly?
It's terrible.
I think it looks great.
Are you kidding me?
I
Okay,
think it
out of
looks
all the
great.
luxury, out of
Do I
wow,
think it's
cannot
the
speak.
prettiest?
Out of all the luxury SUVs that come out in
it's
the last year?
brutal.
Oh, have you seen the Bentley and the Rolls Royce ones?
Yeah,
The Bentley
the
Bugatti
Cullinan.
and the Cullinan?
I almost put the Cullinan
yeah,
on my
it
ugly.
is. They're both trash.
Yeah.
I agree. But you could have a Range Rover SVR,
And
and,
it-
you could
Yes, I
save
agree.
like $80,000 or
Oh, I
like
agree.
$50,000.
That is
I
see,
agree.
that is actually my big
you could
issue.
have a Trackhawk.
Is it a V8?
Yeah, it's a 4-liter V8.
It's a 4-liter V8 twin turbo.
What's 600?
Yeah, it's like 650 or something. It's fast and it's loud and it's very Lamborghini.
I've
It's a
been next
great
to
way
one
to
on,
tell the world that you have no taste
I've been
in
on
cars.
I've been next to one on 25.
I might
it's
agree with that.
interesting.
I actually think that's just a statement of Lamborghini in general.
No, you can have a Huracan Performante or even a base Huracan, and I will respect you.
They're so wacky.
But I cannot respect anybody who drives this.
The problem with Lamborghinis, and I think the Aventador and the Huracan look really good, but the prices that they sell them at for what they are, like, I mean, we always joke that the Huracan is, or the Audi A8 or the R8 is just the Huracan, but $150,000 cheaper.
Yeah.
That's
True.
the same with this Urus. It's just, I believe it's just kind of just,
Probably a Cayenne GTS.
yeah, it's
with a,
it's just the Porsche Cayenne,
Right.
but it's just made to look more like an Aventador, like style
See,
wise.
I think
Style-wise,
there's some
yeah.
So it's-
inbreeding going
yes.
on at Audi Volkswagen,
Which
this
is
the
fine,
result.
but I think it's just ridiculous that it's like the
What's
the
a
the
starting
R8 and the
price?
Huracan.
250?
What?
What's the starting price?
Yeah,
250?
it's like 250.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's not worth that at
you,
all.
Well-
you could have a Gladiator Rubicon
Okay.
and a GT3.
Okay, but
Yeah.
but Jeff, have you seen the Rolls Royce Coleman?
Also terrible.
Cullinan.
Cullinan,
It's
that's
terrible.
it. Cullinan.
Horrible.
And then
Graham,
there's
don't use the C word on
then
this
there's
program,
the
please.
I don't
He's
want to
not
hear
looking,
the,
I wanna
don't
do
want-
it.
I don't want to hear the. I don't think that's how audio works, Graham.
yeah, I know.
He can't see me, so that must mean he can't hear me.
Well, I just didn't want to get the look.
As long as you're not watching crotch cam work.
But that's
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Lamborghini and then Rolls Royce and a couple of the other car like super expensive car companies that I don't think justify their price at all.
Oh yeah.
Like I've never thought Rolls Royce has
Oh, but okay, but this is my thing with Rolls Royce.
at
It's
some
all
point-
handmade, right? So they do justify a little bit of that.
Handmade's fine.
It's all you go in, and the sales experience is like incredible, and you can choose from a lot of different
good
things.
sales experience at my Ford dealership.
But I would never buy the Cullinan. I would never buy the Cullinan.
I would never buy
It's
a
ugly.
singles
I would
single
buy a
Rolls
Rolls-
Royce,
oh
even if
my
I
God.
could afford it. They're
A
just
Phantom? You wouldn't buy a
It's-
Phantom?
no,
it's a waste
oh
of
my
money.
god!
God, are you kidding
The
me?
only thing that's
Oh.
cool about Rolls Royce
I love
is
them.
that they still use the
Excuse me,
they
sir?
use absolutely huge engines.
That's
Excuse
true.
me, sir.
Like the
Do you have
Phantom
any
is like
Grey Poupon?
they have a V6. You could buy a V16 Phantom for like 1
Yes.
year, which is insanity.
Wait, a V16?
They had a V16.
Not a W16.
No, I
Oh
think
my
it was
God.
it was freaking huge.
Yeah, I bet.
Well,
that's-
Graham, apparently we
Rolls-
don't
but
all bathe in
Ro-
caviar.
Rolls,
like you.
Rolls
Yeah.
Royce goes past like, hey, we're going to try and make a really nice car.
That's
and,
the
and just
point.
goes to, hey, how much money can
That's the point
how
of the
much money
vehicle.
can we get billionaires to waste?
yes.
So
Okay, the only redeeming quality about Rolls Royce
Oh, God, here we go. What? Is it an umbrella?
No, is its history in the war effort in World War II, because
Sure.
they did build a lot of the engines
They did.
for a lot of
First
those
thing.
aircraft, and that's
Right.
it. Otherwise,
Do
nobody
we want to talk about
should
BMW
ever
and
buy
the
a Rolls
aircrafts
Royce
they made?
ever,
yeah.
or Mitsubishi,
or Porsche.
Yeah.
Porsche, their
Porsche.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
was it the odor of Porsche Nazi?
Yeah, he was.
But
Then he
anyway,
left.
okay, I knew you guys would give me a lot of flack for that. So, in proper OCN Drives fashion, I did cheat a little bit, and I chose a second car, which I think we could all get behind. Josh, as usual, isn't paying attention, but it's the Lexus Nx.
I haven't
crossover.
even seen the end.
You haven't seen? Oh,
No.
I want to see your reaction when you see
It's
this.
not great. I don't.
Is this just a smaller version of the RX?
Yeah. So, like, click on. Isn't that just atrocious?
It's not great. I have not been a fan of
Do you not like the grill?
Lexus.
No, I hate it.
I don't
Lexus
like.
design language has been
I
terrible.
I appreciate Lexus doing huge grills because I like.
That's a bad angle.
I like big grills, but the way they did it is weird. Like this hourglass
I
shape.
like big grills.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But like Jeff and I are big fans of the Evo.
I think you're a little dyslexic there. You
Yeah.
should You like it? Never mind.
But yeah, I just don't like the grill on this. I think it's just crossovers. I think there's just been a consensus. I don't know about Graham, but I know Jeff and I hate crossovers.
I like the small.
for the most part.
No, I like the small crossover. I agree with you guys that people that their models are just trying to do like, oh god, there are brands that are trying to make their whole lineup be this small.
It's like this
utility
weird
vehicle.
utility. Yeah.
But what is actually happening is that's the largest. That segment is growing.
Crossovers sell like crazy.
Most.
Yeah.
But I would say that this one's bad. But have you guys seen the Honda CHR?
Oh yeah, that one's real bad too.
Oh my god!
When I was
That's not nearly as bad as
when
that.
I was doing
look at it.
When
Look
I was
at
doing
it.
research of ugly cars of 2019, that car was on everyone's list.
Yeah, it
Was
is
that Honda?
horrible.
Oh yeah, that's pretty brutal.
Yeah,
It's pretty bad.
I like your choice though because it is Lexus, and Lexus I don't like the front part when they try and make their SUVs and their crossovers. I hate that part. But look at this garbage that you're just.
I think I would rather drive this than the Lexus.
Okay.
Honestly,
I'd
I mean
rather
they're both
drive-
terrible.
See, my
but-
thing is Lexus. At least you get some performance or something out of
No.
it.
Do you know what I think
No,
is
you
also
don't?
just a good runner-up to all of these? Is
What's
just BMW's design language.
Okay,
And
okay.
For
no,
some reason,
no.
they've taken a size knob.
Yeah.
Which, ha ha ha. Just in the design, the guy doing designs on his computer
Yeah.
just took the knob of and just like turned it up like 5 clicks
Right.
on that grill.
Yeah. Oh,
They're getting like the
X7
BMW,
and the
like,
Series 7?
the 7
Oh my god, the Series 7
the
is
7, 6,
trash.
and 5. The grills are bigger than me.
I
and
think
I'm
they
a
had
big
to.
dude.
I think they stopped production on that 7 Series already.
They're horrible.
It's so horrible.
I violently hate the BMW kidney grill.
Yeah, you've seen that. You saw that.
I get
meme
it's
that-
like a heritage thing and it's like design brand stuff and they can't get rid of it. It's
No,
like
they
the
could.
worst, it's like the
Have you
worst
s-
grill.
Have you seen the grill or that meme that has the grills? It's like 2010, and then it's got a normal size
Oh,
grill.
yeah, I've
And then
seen that.
2020, and it's got that X4 that's got the huge grill. And then it's 2024, and the grill's the whole front. And then it's just 2030, and it's like
The
just a
entire car's a
grill
grill.
and wheels.
And the worst thing is some of these new BMWs with the big grills, they're pointing them out even more. They have like LED lights on them and they make
Yeah.
them glow and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
It's heinous.
Ooh.
Like, I don't know where their market, like, do the people of Germany like it? Because, like, where's the market research that people are like, this is great, you should make this? Because
I don't know.
I don't know any American market research group that would tell BMW that we like this.
Well, I mean, they're selling their SUVs like hotcakes over here, so I mean, but we'll see.
The funny thing is that BMW is not selling well across the entire world. I mean,
Yeah,
still
they're down from where they were in
Compared
the
to
early
everyone else,
2000s
they're still
early
doing-
2000s to the mid.
Yeah, so
the
2000. I was
2010s and all
watching a
that.
video earlier this morning that 2016 was the first year that Mercedes outsold BMW.
Nice.
Yeah.
And BMW has been losing more ground every year.
You know why?
And it's not that they've caught up; they've fixed the issues. Mercedes is just murdering them. every
BMW
year.
has left racing, which
Yeah.
boom, look what it does to
Yeah,
you.
the video I was watching, I think just made a good argument is that BMW just is stale. Like they're not.
Yep.
None of their cars are exciting. None of their designs are exciting. And
Well, they
it's
tried.
just
They
like-
tried with the
and there's
BMW
like-
i8.
and
Okay, the i8
the-
I actually
yeah, the
like, but the
i8 was-
i3 was just trash. So
yeah.
So.
And the i8 looked fantastical. You're like, oh my god, that's kind of a crazy car. But then it performance wise was a piece of crap. Like it was joke. People were laughing at how slow it was.
we're gonna go as long as we want, Josh. We're going full 2 hours here, baby. Yeah.
Joe Rogan has
But
inspired us.
Yeah,
to
Joe
go
Rogan has
3
inspired
hours.
us. 4-hour
God,
podcast.
he does do long podcasts.
Oh yeah,
God bless that man.
Well, when you just smoke some weed, you could probably do 4 hours because you'd forget what you talked about for a while.
Wait, none of you guys are executives at car companies, are you?
No.
Okay, well then.
Yeah. All right.
Pulling a
So,
little
so
Elon
we have
Musk.
one more section that Graham sprung onto us at the beginning of it.
Yes.
So none of us are prepared
Without
for
our
it.
consent.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Graham wants us to all well, I can't even say it. Come together and vote for what is our best car of the decade.
Best and worst car of the decade.
Oh,
how about-
best and worst.
Yeah.
Ooh, worst is hard.
Well, we
my-
can do the best. quick.
No.
No, not yet. Brackets coming up.
My best is just going to be the E63S wagon from AMG.
That's a good one.
That would be my vote. I think it's just perfect. Like obviously it can't go off road, but other than which it doesn't have to. But for an on-road vehicle, it's hilarious that it's like a 6-seater like station wagon.
It is, and it goes
That
under
has
3 seconds.
600
And-
horsepower. It's a twin turbo.
And it sounds so good.
It has the greatest sounding exhaust on the planet. I don't know if there's a car.
Spit hot fire.
Yeah, it's the greatest sounding thing ever,
Love it.
and it's just funny. Jeff saw one in Texas.
Oh.
I've driven one, and
I still dream
and
of
it's
that moment.
it's just hilarious when you're like, I'm gonna get in this station wagon, and it's a Mercedes, and it's
Yeah.
big and it's fat, and you're like, this is gonna be, it's just whatever, the mom car of the family, and then it is faster than 99% of sport cars
Yep.
on the market.
It's fantastic.
So that's my vote. I don't
All
know.
right.
What's
Jeff,
yours?
what's
Jeff?
yours?
Best car.
What's mine? Ooh, that's difficult.
Mine's like right there. I got it.
Porsche 918.
Yeah.
Is that what you're gonna
That's
say?
mine.
That's I had a sneaking suspicion you were
Yes.
gonna say
The
that.
hypercars is a good choice.
Yes.
I
Because-
just thought, as I said, the E63, I was like, boy, that new Raptor is pretty good.
Oh my gosh.
That new Raptor is pretty good.
Pretty good.
3.6 twin
Okay,
turbo, can jump.
If you had to do a different one, what would you
If I had to do a different one,
Were you going to do the 918 too?
Graham was, yeah.
Oh, well, Graham can have the 918.
Should we
What's
double
yours?
team it?
No.
Yeah, let's double
Just
team
kidding.
it.
Now, if I had to pick another car that I don't know, it's got to be one of the Holy Trinity cars.
Yeah,
Just because
I think the
Didn't even
P1 probably
Didn't even
would
did,
be my other
didn't
one.
even cross my
I
mind.
have to go LaFerrari,
Yeah.
actually.
It didn't,
go
it
LaFerrari.
didn't cross my mind to think of the hypercars. I was just thinking of like what has made me most excited and stuff. But I like from just a pure engineering standpoint and a pure importance standpoint, I think it's probably fair to just
Or
pick.
the Lexus LFA.
Ooh, that's a good. Was that
Yeah.
in this
An
decade?
LFA.
Yeah.
Yes, it was. It's 2012.
But yeah, go on. Sorry.
But yeah, I think the Holy Trinity, which if people don't know, is the McLaren P1, the Ferrari LaFerrari, and the Porsche 918, is considered the Holy Trinity. They're all hybrid. They're all hybrid sport cars. They all kind of do it slightly differently. The LaFerrari and the P1 are more similar to each other.
Yeah, they are.
And that they're old time. Their electric systems are always running,
Right.
and always helping provide power. Where the 918 is a split hybrid.
Yep.
Honestly, the 918 shares more of like a Prius than
It does actually, but better
than-
performance
yeah.
on all, everything.
No,
See, I picked an electric car.
if yeah,
You
it's
did.
true technically, but I if I had to choose a Holy Trinity, I actually would be on the 918 as well, just because I think it's more. I think it's more future looking.
Yeah.
Of like what cars are going to be, where the P1 and the McLaren or the McLaren and the Ferrari were just like, let's make this as fast as we can.
Yep.
With the current technology, where I think the 918 was like, I think in 20 years this is what cars are going to be.
Yeah, no, and that's what. And
It gets-
the other thing
it's
that
a,
was
it's a like 800 horsepower car that gets 90 miles to the gallon.
yeah, and the other thing that
That's insane.
that I missed in the news
Josh is looking at me
section.
like he doesn't believe me. The 918 gets 90 miles to the
90 miles to the gallon.
Yeah,
It's insane.
If you
It's
drive
actually-
1 mile.
Actually,
Yeah.
no,
If you
I know
drive
what
1
it is.
mile.
It's 80. It's 86 or 83. I looked it up this morning.
The
But
electric
it's-
battery you can drive on for 100 miles, Jeff. So thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay. Now the,
The
worst
Porsche
vehicle.
Taycan only does about 150.
Okay,
So
please. the worst.
worst
The worst
vehicle
vehicle.
of the decade.
The decade.
That's a tough one. What has been just really bad?
The Power Wagon.
Hurtful.
Just kidding.
the
Just-
Power Wagon.
That was a low blow. That wasn't even funny.
Just so, yeah, you know what? My worst vehicle is the Miata. Which
Oh.
I can't even say with a straight face. 'cause
I
it's
can't
a great
either.
car.
Well,
That's
the
a-
base Miata is different. Or Mercedes? Why?
Graham's car is just like a sea of caviar and Dom Perignon.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
That's a really hard.
Exactly.
It's a really hard question. I think it's an easy question because there's just so many good cars, and I think this is a great thing to talk about. Is it's pretty rare for a car to be super bad these days. Like it's pretty rare.
I think they,
Like
they've gone through enough.
Like it almost
but-
feels like car companies have to go out of their way, and we've recently were in a really bad car, which was the Fiat.
Don't lose our sponsorship, Alex.
The Fiat 500 was an XL or whatever.
Is a Fiat 500X.
Yeah,
And for the record, it wasn't necessarily a bad car.
that car was garbage.
No, it wasn't a bad.
terrible.
If you drove it normally, it was fine. It was comfortable. It was efficient. It was all-wheel drive. But when you started like really pushing on it, boy, that transmission was like, it was like taking Graham to go. I don't know. What's something you don't like doing?
I would say eating pizza for lunch.
Yeah, it would be like taking
Ooh,
Graham.
That's a good one. I like Josh's suggestion. Worst car of the decade.
Oh, definitely.
Technically, the Cybertruck isn't this decade. I mean, it was
Right.
announced in this decade, but won't be out till next decade.
Yeah.
That presentation definitely goes out as worst presentation of the decade. Pretty much any time Elon Musk steps on a stage and opens his mouth into a mic, it's the worst presentation of the decade.
Ooh, maybe we should have him on the show.
He was in the Joe Rogan.
I know.
He's good in really casual environments where he's just speaking his mind because he's really smart. He's kind of a weird dude, and it's interesting to listen to him. But when you put him on stage and he has to like read from a cue card, he's so bad at it. Just put someone else. That's why Apple has Johnny Ive, or had Johnny Ive, and then he left.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Because Johnny Ive is really good at making terrible products sound
What?
good.
Tim Apple can't do it?
No.
I know it's Tim Cook. I'm sorry. I'm just
Tim
pulling
Cook's not
President Trump. Just pulling a President Trump.
Tim Cook is not. Tim Cook is.
He
not,
called him Tim Apple.
Yeah. Tim Cook is not
Right
a
to his
bad
face.
public
And
speaker.
did you see his face?
Yeah.
He just went like this. Tim Cook went like.
Yeah.
Anyways, keep
All right,
going.
Graham. Well,
Does anyone have a bad
let's-
car?
let-
I like Josh's. Josh's was the Cybertruck. What else we got?
I mean, the Nissan Murano is that convertible one that is just like that Range Rover Evoque.
let's just go
It's
with the Evoque convertible.
It's just trash. They're both just ugly. I mean, yeah. Anyways, I would also say that sometimes the base model of Hondas or Toyota like Camrys or Chevy, whatever they were doing for a while.
Ooh,
was
Chevy
it?
Sonic.
Yeah, the Sonic. Oh God.
Yeah,
Just
there's
all-
some
Spark.
There's some
just
stinkers
all
in there.
the base ones that they do. That's just like why how I don't know.
Josh, if you've never seen one, just pluck one out of the grill of your Tacoma and inspect it under
Yeah,
a microscope.
exactly.
You'll know what we're talking about.
Okay.
Well,
So-
guys, what do you?
Oh, I have
wanna-
a hot take of
have
what's
two
been really
announcements.
bad in
Yes,
the
yes.
decade, and it's kind of a cheat. I'm just gonna say Harley Davidson.
Ooh, okay. I think they did really well at the beginning of the decade. Then I think they fell off.
They are
towards
crashing
the
and
middle.
burning
Yeah.
like an airplane
Yes.
caught on fire right now.
Yeah, they are.
Because they've taken the Toyota strategy of let's not change things, and people will keep buying it, and no one's buying it.
Yeah, yeah. I
So
doesn't always work.
yeah,
Okay, Graham.
Hey. We have two announcements to make. First up is that we put together a bracket of our 2019-2020 cars. And I don't know if he's got it up, but we will be going through...
we're just gonna be final. What is it? What is the
The
March
Final Four?
Madness?
Well,
It's
March
the
Madness.
March Madness of 2019 to 2020 cars.
yes, exactly.
So kind of a lead up from this episode
Right.
of where we all sat down, found a bunch of cars that we all really liked, and we're just every single week. I mean,
We're
I'll let
gonna-
Graham-
We're
Yes.
getting nitty gritty with
We're
these
gonna go
cars.
through. We're gonna take a
gonna rank
section
'em.
and we're gonna rank them, and then we'll hit the highlights every week leading up to our final. Well, our episode will air that following week, but it will be live broadcasted on the 31st, which will have the final four and our final of them.
Should we get a trophy made for the final car and send it to the send it to the dealer?
Oh yeah,
That
they're
would
gonna
be
love
pretty
that.
funny. That would be
Then-
Just randomly.
Then they're gonna make a commercial
right.
with that.
Isn't that
Oh, that would be
isn't
perfect.
Isn't that how we
JD
make,
Power and
yeah,
Associates.
isn't that how we make ourselves legitimate? We give out awards.
Yeah,
OCN Power and Associates.
yeah, exactly.
Awarded.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely going to spend my own hard-earned money to go make a trophy
fantastic.
too.
for
Awesome.
whoever wins this.
Well, good.
We should just like get a really, really, really big one that you get at like a sports championship.
Oh, yeah.
Just like huge.
No, you can
Knock off the baseball player on top and put the
Just-
to go buy a modeled car version
We'll-
of what it is.
Find them at a Goodwill.
We'll hot glue a
Hot
Hot
Wheels.
Wheels to the top.
Oh, I can
of
solder.
the car.
We can get a soldering iron. We can
Okay.
solder.
We'll class it up.
Yeah. And then the other announcement that I'm making is that we're launching our Instagram account finally.
Yes.
So it's going to
Good
be
call.
launched, and then every day we're going to be pushing out
One social
items.
media platform at a
Yeah,
time.
no,
right?
and this is my thing is
We're old men.
I don't really care for Facebook right now, and I don't think our viewers care for Facebook. So I'm just going Instagram right now.
That's a bold statement because Instagram is also owned by Facebook. So,
I know.
I don't like Facebook, so we're not going to use it.
No, I don't like the Facebook design. I just think as a business page, I don't think it's very good for businesses. And I just think people will love to look at our memes and our funny vehicles and other things like that. And
Hey, we
yes,
had a
we
sponsor
can make
one
money
week.
on this. Yeah, exactly. And those were my two announcements. Jeff, do you have anything else?
No, I think I'm ready for a cup of cafefe.
Cafefe? Yeah.
You are.
I'm ready for a long nap.
Me too. Can we watch?
Yes. You can be the little spoon if you want.
Ooh. I think with your size, that's always the case regardless of position.
It's true.
All right,
So-
read the thing, and then we can have our small talk. So it looks cool.
All right, guys, that wraps it up. I just want to say thank you to Josh for keeping our fluids topped off. Fiat Chrysler Automobiles for letting us get behind the wheel of some of their cars. Also, AMG Mercedes, because they gave us a car to play with not
Hooray.
too long ago. And that was pretty cool. Last but not least, ourcommunitynow.com, where you can read more on our thoughts on cars, culture, food, and more. They make this all possible for us.
Did I name what our Did I give the name of what our
No,
Instagram?
do you want to
you
give the
didn't.
name of our Instagram?
Do it quick.
That's what I was just thinking.
OCN Drives. It will be on the story.
Yeah, follow us on OCN Rides on Instagram or find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Red Circle, and more. I'm your host, Jeff Erbert. Thanks for listening to another ridiculous episode of OCN Drives. Peace.
This has been OCN Drives, brought to you by Our Community Now. Please visit us at ourcommunitynow.com and check out them socials.